So we can look at these percentage increases and decreases. Okay, so we can do this as 246 out of 60. Okay, and we end up with 400 or 246 divided by 60 is going to give us 4.1. Okay, so this is going to be our decimal percentage, or 410%. Okay, so maybe I'll write this as a ratio, 410 over 100. Okay, so our multiplier in this case is times 4.1. Okay, so we times by 4.1. So the increase, then we have to take away the 300 and the original 100. So we end up with a 310% increase. Okay, so there's two ways to do it. Some people may say that this is a 410% increase, but technically that's not quite correct, because the increase part of it is only the 310. Okay, so be very careful of how you word your increases, because and this is often reported in the news. We say there's a 410% increase, but really the increase was only 310%. So here we can do 108 is decreased to 54. Okay, so we end up with a 50% out of 100%. Okay, this is our multiplier is 0.5. Okay, so our percentage is 50%. Now we take away 50% from the original 50%, 100%. So we do 100% minus the 50% to figure out our decrease. So we're left with 50%. So our decrease was 50% decrease. Okay, so in this case it just works out the same because of the numbers, but the decrease is 50%. Okay, we're left with 50%, but also the decrease is 50%. So you can see the parts on the GeoGebra app. You can do some of these problems on that if you like. Look at the percentage parts, the parts that you are left with, and the actual increase parts of it, or the decrease parts. Okay, so I'll do a couple of these as well. So $3,000 is invested for 8 years at a rate of 9%. So this is a compounded interest problem. So when we do compounded interest, we're going to start with our original $3,000, and we're going to use a multiplier. And we're going to do this 8 times. So if we increase 9%, at the end of 1 year, we're going to end up with 109%. So I'm going to multiply by 109. And then I'm going to do this again. That's for year 1. I'm going to multiply by that again for year 2 and year 3. Now there's a more efficient way of doing this. If I'm going to repeatedly multiply, well, I'm going to use an exponent. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this 8 times. So I'm going to calculate my increase first. I'm going to go 1.09. Okay, and I'm going to do this to the power 8. And that's going to give me 1.9925 or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to go 3,000. And the percentage increase ends up being almost 99% increase. So I'm going to use, maybe I'm going to round that to 26. Okay, so that is 1.09 to the power 8, and then I multiply that by 3,000 to get my end amount. Now you could do this all in one calculation, but I'm just showing you this the power part because that gives us our percentage increase. Okay, so we get $5,977 and about 69 cents. Okay. So we can do the same thing for 850. 850, we're going to earn 7%. So at the end of 1 year, we're going to have 107%. And we're going to do this 4 years. Okay, so we're going to then multiply that. Okay, so we're going to do 1.07, and we're going to do that 4 times. So I'm just going to do power 4, okay, which is 1.310. So we're going to get $850 and multiply that by 1.310. I'm going to round that to 8. We don't really need to carry this many decimals, but we're just going to do that for the sake of accuracy. So we're going to get $1,114. So $1,114, and we'll round that to 18 cents. Okay, so the interest that we earned on this is somewhere around, it looks like $264.